Breaking news.
So there has been a change to the upcoming game Level 0. So you may not have been following the game closely like I have, but there was an announcement that happened back in October letting the community know they was pushing the game back to 2024. Luckily, it was not the late 2024. Well, now the game has been revamped and is now called Level 0 Extraction. And also they are having a closed beta for March 15th on Steam only, I believe. Now there were a few changes to the game that I think were key to get this game a better audience. Level 0 Extraction could be the next exciting multiplayer survival horror game to hit the market, and I'm going to tell you why. Welcome to Mr. Unleashed World. I just want to say my first impression of Level 0 was pretty cool, and I'm talking about the first trailer. I wasn't too impressed due to the gameplay for the victims or the humans versus the monster. It seemed kind of one-sided. But if you didn't know, Level 0 had different gameplay strategy for the survivors to win. And it didn't include using weapons as the survivors, no. Now the game definitely had the spooky environment down from the get-go, but the strategy for the humans was a bit weak. I mean, using light as your only source was unique in a way of trying to survive, but very unfair to the survival side. Also, you had to conserve the batteries for these certain objects you were using for light. If you have played any asymmetrical horror game, then you should know or have an idea of which side gonna be well sought after if the game was released with that type of game style or play style for the game. They probably seen this a mile away and saw that the concept might be going in the wrong direction. The game was PvP, but now the game has done a complete makeover. Now the game has added on an extra word, extraction, with a whole new concept, and it's a concept that I can even get around. The game is still PvP, which is good, and it's important to keep it that way. But there will be a group of monsters, some scientists that is part of the story, but in NPCs, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to play any of them, or they probably already dead when you arrive, and 3 teams of 3 mercenaries controlled by human players. The game is pretty much now is a PvP, VP, VE. Try to say that 10 times fast. So this will be a lobby of at least 11 human players. I do have some issues with the updated look of the monsters. I thought they was more unique in the first trailer, but in this trailer that I just seen, they look more like overgrown bats in the face. But other than that, I do like the direction and the story behind being in the scenario or in that type of environment when playing the game, because now you're obtaining the data and trying to escape, which is more thrilling than just fighting monsters. But don't fight against hitting one of those engagement buttons. I appreciate it. Anyway, by adding these new concepts to the game, it's way more at stake, and with the ability to team up with other mercenaries, all to just find out that only one team will be able to actually win the match, which is a crapshoot if teams consider teaming up together, because as you complete your missions, you will unlock gear to help you power up. But let's just say there is no camaraderie or no truce between the other players that you're going against. Then that makes it easier for the monsters to fight against 3 opposing teams, and it would be easier for the monsters to coordinate because there's only 2 players rather than being a group of people that can't get along or just talking over one another. I just seen some gameplay on Level 0, and I believe the game will definitely appeal to an audience, even though it looks like the game can be slow at times. I say this because I watched 2 different streamers who had early access, and there were 2 different paces. It was a lot of interaction with the other team and a lot of fast-paced action. But in other stream, it was a little bit slower, and like they didn't really run into monsters or the other teams that was on the map very often. But with that being said, even though it could be slow times, the suspense of power outages and the thought that a monster can pop out anytime and hearing noises in the background like gunshots, it could definitely keep you on your toes and keep you tuned into the game. Now, playing the monsters look pretty intense as well, because you will have all these abilities that you can use at your disposal and also see through walls where people are at, all while finding eggs around the map to make you powerful. And then when you get into combat with the humans, you can see the impacts of your attacks with blood and all these things on the screen coming at you. It's definitely a different feel from playing the mercenaries or playing the monsters. The developers announced that there will be no embargo for Level 0, so there will be heavy dose of reviews and gameplay coming soon. Again, the beta starts on March 15th. This will be an important time for developers to see if they are on the right track with this new interesting take on multiplayer horror games. So, are you interested in Level 0 Extraction? And how do you feel about the new take on the game? Let me know in the comment section below. Welcome to Mr. Unleashed World.